TRW, back here, Little Round Top, Avalon Hill, 1982. Well, certainly not the smooth start I was hoping for. Well, I haven't found any resolution on the rules saying that changing, volley fire, the rules saying volley fire costs 4 command points, and the command point cost chart on the map saying 4. I'm going to go with the rules based on the assumption only that the map had to go to final production before maybe the rules had to go to final production. So maybe the rules are later. I'm going to go with that for now. The rest of it, let's see. I was ready to, I was ready to give up on this, but not yet. I probably should not have assumed, I should maybe not have assumed that this is as polished as its age maybe led me to believe. That's that. And I'm thinking to get back, so I'm trying to figure out how to get back on track. And one thing is, I think I probably should do a real quick rules scan, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to try to pull out just a few points for each of the rules section, understand generally what's going on. I'm going to do that, but on the other hand, it was really kind of maybe some vague points that were throwing me off. Maybe I'll see. But one big thing that that's why I think I should do an overall scan of the rules, is that I did find, okay, I believe, and I'm going to hit it again when I hit movement, I believe I'm supposed to be moving these companies one at a time. And so I'm thinking maybe if I had been moving the companies one at a time like I'm supposed to, maybe the other things would have clicked better. And when I thought of that, then I thought, maybe I should not be, and again, this goes to maybe getting a sense of the overall design. Maybe I should not be wasting time and energy, and it is a waste of time and energy as far as I can see, to kind of absolutely optimize every command point. Maybe I should be moving, as I'm supposed to be, one company at a time, and just expend the command points as I go. And clearly I'll be running out all the time. Maybe that, presumably that's part of the design. And maybe I should just go with that. I think I was trying to optimize everything way too much before. And then I was thinking, well, I think maybe a more experienced player, especially a wargamer coming back to this design, having played it before, might be inclined to do that and might be able to do that. I never played this game before what I've recorded, so I guess I falsely thought I had a general idea of what was going on. Okay, so start over. Again, what's important? I think, okay, so the sequence of play is clear enough. Union player turn first, 4 main phases. I was thinking maybe I was overthinking the command phase. You're gonna, let's say, you're gonna roll to rally, which is only on a 6, and then if you don't get that, then you can spend command points to rally, which is 5 per, yeah. Yeah, obviously you're going to replace your officer casualties. That makes sense. that makes sense because there is a, I'm assuming it makes sense because there's another officer on the back side. So that's why I was assuming, okay, that that makes sense. Wow. I need different tweezers for this game, maybe. Okay, then you're going to do your command radius. That's clear enough. That's funny. There's no add a command. All right. Okay, officers expend. You are actually expending command points during the command phase if you're doing formation changes and fixing or removing bayonets, or rally units under their command, or rallying units that didn't successfully, I guess, self-rally. And then, of course, you deal with out of ammunition. There are ways to get ammunition back, and so get out of your out of ammunition status. Then, okay, so that's the command phase, but oh, I'm sorry, I skipped right over the one I wanted to highlight. Number 3, the officer announces, which is probably a misleading word for me anyways, from my way of thinking, any orders qualifying for a command bonus. I guess I was maybe interpreting that too narrowly. Maybe that's just the player checks to see what orders each officer qualifies for to use a command bonus, maybe. Again, I'm not sure why you would do that, but maybe that's what that. Maybe I was, yeah. All right, movement phase. That's clear. Except I do think you're supposed to be doing unit by unit, volley fire, or initiate melee. Okay, so you have to basically, I guess, announce. See, you announced earlier, but anyways, you announce volley fire and you announce melee. Okay. You have to do that during the movement phase. So basically that just means you have to do it before fire combat, which means that you'll do that before you see some or all of the results of the fire combat. Okay. All right. Then you do defensive fire first and offensive fire. That's fine. That's a lot of firing. That's good. Defensive fire is no volley fire. That makes sense. All right. Melee phase. I haven't gotten there. Okay. So the companies that were ordered to initiate melee, I just go ahead and attempt that. And there is what they call continuous melee. That's again a odd choice of words, but you can continue melee from turn to turn. All right. The officers and command points, which again I thought was a great idea. So, I mean, your commanders have their point total and their radius, which again, now instead of thinking about all of the expenditures and optimizing it, I'm just going to go unit by unit, and then kind of when I cut off or when I run out, I run out. Okay. Command point total, command radius is fine. Just have to avoid enemy zones of control. The command bonus, which again is an interesting terminology, but that's the efficiency part, where you're basically sending an order down a line. I mean, quote unquote, sending an order down a line. It's that simple. I'm not sure why this bonus may only be given once for each officer during a game turn. I mean, how would you get more than one? Unless they mean if you do more than one of these orders that qualify for the bonus, you don't then get another 6 per, but that, why would you even assume that? I don't know. Anyways, and it's most of the orders, by the way. Okay, so you have this command bonus where you get basically a bonus in, it is a bonus of command points, but I think that's misleading because you're using it in particular circumstances. But interestingly, it's a lot of orders. You can do this for formation changes. So basically, you could do, I guess, this whole line here. You could change from column to line. And okay, so you get 6 more command point totals. I mean, getting 6 more command point total, in effect, that's simply increasing your command volume, your command capacity. Yeah. Another way to look at it is that it's making your command more efficient, which in turn is making the commander, the leader, commander, I guess they're commanders here, more effective. Okay. And you have any movement, a volley fire, initiating melee, fixing or removing bayonets. I mean, that's a lot. What's not included? What is not included? I mean, I know something's not included. Okay, rallying. Rallying's obviously not included, but that's because you're rallying during the command phase. I don't know what's being emphasized isn't included other than rally. All right. Rules for officers. I'm not sure. Is there anything unusual here? Actually, I do need to remember. I don't think I've done it. I don't think I did it with. Yeah, I don't think I did it with Lieutenant Colonel Scruggs. So I know I haven't done this. I do need to remember that officers have to spend their own command points for themselves. I do need to remember that. It's cheap, as you would expect, but there's still a cost. So when Scruggs moved, I should have counted another point for him. So it's a small thing, but do need to remember. All right. So officers don't take these command point functions for free. Okay. You have officer casualties and promotions. All right, fine. Okay, so movement. So it's nice. I actually really like this idea that units don't have movement allowances, but they do have a fixed maximum number of hexes they can move per movement phase. 4 in line, 5 in column. I like that. I also like, by the way, that in column is not like some drastic improvement over line. It's not very accurate to say, okay, if these units in line can move 4 hexes maximum, okay, in column it's double. I mean, that doesn't sit well with me, but it's nice. It's nice that they have it a modest improvement. So 4 hexes max in line, 5 hexes in column. I like that. But you're still, it's not that you're not expending. So even though you don't have a movement allowance, what's being expended are the command points by a commander, which is all I like. So companies are moved one at a time. And I don't see any provision for any variation from that, except that an officer can move. I think an officer can move with a regiment that he's commanding. Yeah. Infantry companies are always moved. See, it even reiterates it. At the start of the procedure, companies are moved one at a time. At the end, it says infantry companies are always moved one at a time. However, here's the officer thing. I knew it was here. Officer may be moved along with any company that they're stacked with, which I guess implies that they're being commanded by them as well. Movement restrictions, are there any, really? Again, we have the What is it? Obviously, don't enter hex containing enemy. That's obvious. Okay. There is some fire possible during movement. I think it is what you would expect. Yeah, and then there's the companies in line formation may move a maximum of 4 hexes total in a movement phase. Companies in column 5 hexes. Officers 7 hexes. To the extent that matters here, but I'm not sure there's quite enough movement going on in this entire little fight here to have a leader moving 7 hexes. There is moving backwards. Oh, this is also something important. Where is it? Oh, it's probably under facing. But as a matter of fact, I'll wait till I get there. There is something important. All right, formations. All right, you got a line or column. This is interesting. Units in different formations may stack together. So you can have one company in line and another company in column in the same hex. Units may change formation in any enemy zone of control, but trigger withdrawal fire. So there is withdrawal fire. That's the fire that can happen during movement. Line formation. This is where you conduct fire attacks and initiate melee. Column formation. You cannot conduct fire attacks or initiate melee. This is interesting, but it also does make sense. If a company in column is attacked by enemy units, they're immediately placed in line formation and are disorganized. But that makes sense. That's regardless of any other combat result. Okay, so yeah, it is important to point out that not only do units in column have 1 extra hex in their maximum movement, they also consume less command points. So for those 2 reasons together, it is efficient for movement. Okay. Facing. Again, front 3, rear 3, but this game does use a center front hex and a center rear hex. And this is what I was going to say, effect on movement. So in this game, companies only move into their center front hex. So I may have incorrectly sidled. I shouldn't have done that. You only move into your center front hex or your center rear hex if you're moving backward. So I do need to pay attention to facing here and changing facing more than 1 hex side. Oh, that's funny. It has a cost there, but is it changing facing more than 1 hex side at a time or within a movement? Within a movement phase, right? So, all right, here he is. So, if he goes, this is all the same level here. So this is 3. He can turn 1 for nothing, right? So 3. But now if he turns this way, is it free because he's doing 1 hex at a time? Or is it now that he has to pay 2 because now he's changed facing more than 1 hex side for this entire move? This is the second 1 hex move. I have no idea. So as long as a company is within the command radius of an officer of its regiment, so an officer of its regiment, yeah, okay, that makes sense. It may always turn 1 hex side in each hex. Oh, in each hex at no cost. If a company, okay, so here's the answer to my question. If a company wishes to turn more than 1 hex side in a hex, it may do so at the cost of 2 command points. So that means that you can basically, okay, so you can sidle. Because what you're doing is you're doing a free 1 hex side turn. You're paying 3, and then you're doing a free 1 hex turn in the hex. So you didn't pay anything more than the 3 to move. Although I am sure that. No, I'm not sure. I'll leave open the possibility that maintaining your you're facing is still important, maybe for other reasons.